Good afternoon, everybody. On today's Business Applications Lunch and Learn, we're going to be showcasing how Microsoft's business applications ecosystem helps to drive healthcare outcomes. We're going to be diving into how Dynamics 365, Power BI, Azure IoT, the Microsoft Bot Framework, Microsoft AI really all comes together to help empower healthcare providers to drive those outcomes. If this is your first time with the Business Applications Lunch and Learn series, hit that subscribe button down below. Every Monday, we bring new videos that showcase the value of Microsoft's business applications ecosystem, all the way from Microsoft Azure, the Power Platform, as well as Microsoft's ability to drive outcomes in your specific industry. Use the timestamps in the description below to fast forward through today's demonstration so that you can get right to the points that matter most to you. There is no better showcase of all of Microsoft's capabilities than my partners in crime, Edgar Wilson and Matt Anderson. Matt and Edgar, how are you guys doing today?
Very good.
I'm good, man. How you been, buddy?
I'm doing really well. I am really excited because when I saw your demonstration, it is amazing how you can weave together all of the capabilities that are off the shelf from Microsoft. And it really is just really impressive. So everything from AI, Microsoft Azure IoT, the analytics capabilities, the business capabilities around Dynamics 365, marketing, as well as Microsoft Flow and machine learning. So just really excited. I can't wait to share it with our community. It's an amazing showpiece, and thank you for making the time. I know it's a busy time of the year, so we really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. So I'll kick things off here and just give a little bit of a foundation of what we're doing. So Edgar and I are both part of the healthcare focused team. So that covers healthcare payers, providers, as well as life sciences organizations. And we're specifically focused around extending that with business applications and Dynamics 365. We've been doing a lot of work based on the Healthcare Accelerator that was released last year that drives forward scenarios both for customers as well as for partners to be able to build on top of that. And as we go through things today, we'll go through a handful of different scenarios, looking at it through various Microsoft technologies. And, Edgar, I think maybe we dive right into a little bit of screen.
All right, let's do it. All right, so what you'll be seeing today is kind of an overview from the perspective of a care coordinator, as well as from the point of view of a patient. So patient experience and overall being able to drive a more personalized patient experience is really what the entire Microsoft ecosystem can bring to bear. So as you can see here within Microsoft Teams, I've segmented out my patient populations based on location or based on the type of insurance that they have. And over here to the right, you can see that I folded in Dynamics 365. So very important to, when you're going out to these healthcare systems, to paint the vision of the all-up Microsoft platform and how we can drive patient experience and care coordination through leveraging every piece and part of the Microsoft ecosystem. So as you can see here, I've prioritized my patients in a view such as this. And what you can see here is that Carleen Avery is showing as a high priority because she's reporting a high blood glucose reading. So I'll go ahead and hop into Carleen Avery's record. And as you can see here, you can see the base patient information, all of the interactions within her timeline, as well as her chronic disease risk rating. Now, how we're actually formulating these disease risk ratings is leveraging Azure machine learning. So over here, we've created a set of logarithms based on these chronic conditions, and I'll just open the diabetes risk rating, where we're taking patient population data and actually comparing it to Dynamics data in order to formulate an evaluation model for a patient's risk rating. So really showing where the rubber meets the road with respect to actually leveraging machine learning to drive better patient outcomes. Also, kind of in that same vein, being able to also bring in data from Azure IoT directly within context of a patient record. So as you can see here, leveraging Dynamics in conjunction with Microsoft Power BI to show the latest patient reading for Carleen Avery, as well as her vital trends over time. So not only are we leveraging, in this particular case, Teams, Dynamics, Power BI, Azure IoT, we're bringing it all together so that unbeknownst to the care coordinator, she just has access to everything that she needs directly at her fingertips in this one-stop shop point of view that you can see here.
Yeah, and Edgar, as we're talking about IoT, I mean the relevant context here is the wearable devices that people have, or blood glucometer that's sending in readings, or even something that's coming back and was taken as vitals from a home health nurse. All of that comes together and can be used to be able to provide these trends. So as you look at that patient 360 or member 360, you have all of that coming together in one easy place for the for the clinician or for the member care member.
Absolutely. Yeah. So also what we're leveraging this data for is to formulate a patient score. So is Carleen adhering to her individual care plan? And then actually being able to leverage the artificial intelligence that formulates that patient score to then be able to segment and drive patient journeys, as we'll show here in just a few minutes. But as you can see, I can see those latest device readings. I can see those vital trends over time. And here, this is actually what gave me that high priority alert. I can see that her weekly blood glucose reading average has been above threshold for 3 days. So this actually triggered a task for the care coordinator to contact Carleen. And also here, we folded in different standards that a lot of these providers actually care about, such as HEDIS. So as you can see here, I have an individual measure to ensure that Carleen or my overall patient population is adhering to certain measures. So is it adult BMI assessments? And if you can see, when I click here, it actually gives me a list of tasks that I actually need to adhere for specific to this individual patient. So I can see that, that I haven't documented her BMI percentile and I haven't documented her weight in some time. And how we're actually driving this is leveraging the playbook, which is directly embedded within Dynamics. So actually taking a piece of the out-of-the-box platform to drive patient care. So if I open this comprehensive diabetes care playbook, which we've kind of reformulated into care tasks, I can see here the individual care tasks that I need to perform for this individual patient. So I need to ensure that she has an A1C test, a retinal eye exam, and that potentially I need to send her information on controlling her blood pressure. So this notion of a one-stop shop and actually being able to segment and drive these templates for playbooks, leveraging standards, is something that we show all of the time to our provider customers.
Yeah, and as we're looking at this, I think it's important to just recognize that what we're seeing is the connection of the business application that we have, capabilities from across Microsoft, but we're bringing that in with industry standards such as HL7 fire standard for the exchange of healthcare information. The HEDIS measures are a common standard. So being able to speak that language that's going to be relevant for healthcare customers, and when they go to do an implementation, it is more focused on configuring to what their specific needs are instead of having to try to kind of create based on those standards themselves. Much more of a streamlined experience from that perspective.
That's absolutely right. And a great segue into where we can actually view that presented clinical data. So as you can see here directly within context, I don't have to bounce over to my Epic or Cerner or Allscripts electronic health record system. I can directly view those patient conditions, medications, allergies, appointments, claims, all directly within this patient 360 within Dynamics. And also, as you can see, I can see those side by side with any recent cases I have or any patient outreach activities. And to kind of show you what we can do with respect to patient outreach, and I'll actually take you through a brief scenario here. So as a care coordinator, I'm able to see kind of how I'm tracking based on my patient population, juxtaposed to my my peers in my care coordination group. So here, I'm able to see all of my different colleagues, as well as the overall HEDIS score for a particular region, as well as the overall HEDIS score over time. I can slice and dice this by gender or the actual measure. But here I'll actually click on Molly Clark's record, and then we'll kind of filter down this data to actually be able to see, okay, which patient population is not adhering to a certain measure or action. So let's say in this case, LDL screening. So I want to kind of dissect this individual measure. And here, if I click on LDL screening, I can see that there's a location that it looks like I need to pay close attention to, and actually even able to filter this down even more, where if I say, okay, my 30-year-olds, I have a really low HEDIS score, and then I can directly kind of view where I need to concentrate my efforts. And then what I can do is actually tie this into the platform to create our segment, which you can see here. So we have those 30-year-old diabetics, those that have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, in this particular zip code, as I'll show you here with this patient segment, which is extremely simple to configure, very point click. And as you'll notice, I have not left Microsoft Teams. I've stayed within the same place the entire time. So here we've got our condition, we've got our age group that we're looking to contact, and then we've also got a zip code that we want to add to this. And then I can also tie in that overall patient journey. So now that I have my actual segment, I want to come here and actually drive our comprehensive diabetes care patient journey. So now, not only have I been able to, actually, wrong one, apologies. Not only have I been able to, segment my patient population, now I can drive better care coordination outcomes directly through the overall platform. So as this comes up here, I can, create that patient journey that's inviting them to an event. And if they don't attend the event, then add them to a nurture list or something to that effect. So this not only helps with patient outreach, but could also directly help with, as you can see here, those care task items that I showed earlier. So, based on that segment, I can directly, based on their method of contact, send them a text message that says, hey, here's some information on controlling your blood pressure, or information on, scheduling a retinal eye exam or an A1C testing. So really bringing all of the platform together to make a proactive provider experience as opposed to one that's reactive.
Yeah, and the key here is that we have all of these capabilities within the platform that we're leveraging standards. So we're seeing things from, marketing, from customer service, from our sales capabilities that are built into our first-party applications of Dynamics. We're able to, communicate and coordinate around that using something like Teams, and we can both identify the trends and see the results with Power BI. So, really all of those things coming together.
Absolutely. And one thing that I'm super psyched about, and I just can't stay out of it, is the virtual agent. So we've shown this to many customers that have initiatives where they want this virtual nurse, where someone that can directly answer care coordination questions or fill out surveys. So we've shown this quite often, leveraging the virtual agent assistant. And I'll actually hop into a quick example of what we've done to show this. So as you can see here, this would be from the purview of Carlene, and she's received an email to take an actual survey. And as a patient, I can directly interact with a bot to not only ensure that I received a really good experience when I came into the walls of the provider, but a more proactive care. Are you taking your medications? Do you have any questions about your medications? And then being able to leverage the platform to proactively create tasks for care coordinators to follow up with me as a patient. So I don't know about you guys, but in this the old patient paradigm is one that I get sick, have an ailment, go to the doctor, get a prescription, recover, and then never talk to the doctor again until I need to go back. This is one where the doctor is actually very proactive in reaching out to me to ensure that I'm, feeling well and that I understand my care. So very important to a patient.
Personally, I just try not to get sick and do my best at doing that. But I suppose the next best thing is like having the channel on my mobile phone or being able to get to it and connect with my provider that way.
Absolutely. And then, being able to leverage our mobile technology. So here, this is actually something that a partner built, leveraging Dynamics, Xamarin, and Azure on the back end to provide check-in to an urgent care center. So as a father of three, I don't want to sit in an urgent care center with my 4-year-old for an hour, right? So this provides a streamlined process to actually provide me the ability to check in. And then leveraging Microsoft Flow on the back end, it can proactively send me text messages, as you'll see here, to let me know, hey, you're number 3 in line, and you can start making your way to the urgent care center. And kind of along that same line, being able to also fold in the bot framework in conjunction with Azure, with Dynamics, to ultimately provide that same functionality plus more. So here I'm actually able to find an urgent care center that's closest to me, and then directly provide or perform that check-in the same as I would through the mobile app. And also kind of in that same vein with patient experience, being able to have Wayfinder. So as a patient at one of the largest providers here in the Atlanta area, almost get lost every time I have to go to my son or my daughter's doctor's appointments. So this would be perfect for them, actually trying to sell this to them, to provide wayfinding to the actual location. And this leverages Xamarin as well as Azure as well. So really showing how our partners are actually folding into this overarching notion of the Microsoft Intelligent Health Platform as well.
Yeah, and to extend on that, the partner message around this, it's being leveraged by implementation partners as well as the ISV community. I mean, because with the Health Accelerator, we're using a standards-based approach to the data model that's being built out. It means that any partner IP that gets developed isn't going to have that question that's historically been a challenge of, yeah, but will it work with our system? Well, exactly. by having the common data model that's driving these stories at kind of the data model level, it means that as these capabilities are built out by partners and ISVs, you're able to more easily take advantage of those. That's both true for a widget, an app that extends something, or even machine learning algorithms that might be built out by an ISV with a lot of data and history of managing certain conditions, and being able to even drive revenue streams for a partner that way, while also getting access to a customer to that data that they'd otherwise try to have to source on their own or build their own algorithm based on perhaps a less robust source of data. So helping improve overall outcomes rather than just outcomes of the few.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, along that same line, we work with Epic and a lot of the large electronic health record systems. So we're not in competition with them, but really want to expound or expand on the functionality of those clinical systems of record to provide a method of communication and collaboration with the care team, and ultimately also provide a more personalized patient experience. As 3 kind of I'd say legacy CRM guys. We've been around the Dynamics and CRM space for a long time. At its core, it's customer relationship management, which we're leveraging the entire platform to bestow. So what better way to do that within a provider setting than with Dynamics kind of at the center of that. And also to kind of, show some other functionality that can directly be folded in, which we're leveraging our partner community for, is smart scheduling. So in this case, we're leveraging Unified Service Desk, where we tied Kyruus, which is a partner of ours that provides a smart search and scheduling mechanism directly within context of the Dynamics platform, and actually has been rolled out at a few of our mutual customers, where I can search for a cardiologist, so directly by specialty, or if I wanted to search by condition, I could do so directly within this, and also filter on insurance or the age of the individual patient, which we can also pass over these parameters. And the key differentiator with Kyruus and why we were eager to partner with them is that they provide a direct integration to the electronic medical record systems for scheduling. So in this case, I've performed my search for my physician, and then I can directly view, the insurances that they provide and have direct insight into the electronic medical record system for when their next availability is. So here I can, view which location and the time that they're available, and directly book this appointment directly through Kyruus, which, unbeknownst to the user, again, we're contextually kind of pushing over parameters into the partner solution to provide this type of functionality. And also, transportation. It's a big thing within the healthcare space. So also being able to tie in aspects such as Uber or Lyft to directly, proactively provide transportation to a patient. So as you can see here, we can directly pass over parameters or location specifics on the provider or the patient to provide that patient with a ride. So as can be seen, a lot thrown at you, I know, but the intelligent health platform is truly a differentiator in market when we pull all of our pieces and parts together.
Edgar, I am really impressed with just everything that you've brought into driving that healthcare outcome, taking all of the off-the-shelf capabilities and leadership that Microsoft has to help influence that. Everything from Dynamics 365, Power BI, Unified Service Desk, the bot framework, everything that is part of that business applications ecosystem. Obviously, from a healthcare perspective, you can drive outcomes, but this could be tailored for just about any industry. And it's really a showcase of differentiators that Microsoft brings to empower our customers. Very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this can be scaled to education, financial services, manufacturing, automotive. I'm aware that they're doing some really, really cool things. So yeah, to your point, can be scaled across industries.
Edgar and Matt, that is amazing. I love how you brought together Microsoft's Azure capabilities around IoT and taking the telemetry of signals to help drive that patient outcome, marrying that with Dynamics 365 and the analytics capabilities within Microsoft's analytics platform of Power BI. But you married it all together within Microsoft Teams, which is used by over 500,000 organizations. Right? It's really just an empowering collaborative framework, and the ability for Microsoft to empower our customers and bring that all together. There is nobody else in the world that can deliver that for Microsoft's customers. So thank you again for this showcase. We really appreciate your skills and sharing that with our community. If this was helpful, give it a thumbs up or share it with a colleague. We bring videos to our community every Monday, and we want to make sure that the storytelling of Edgar and Matt, that it was helpful. So if you thought that this was worthwhile and beneficial, give it a thumbs up and share it with a colleague. But Edgar and Matt, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time today.
Thanks much.
No worries. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, guys.